What's up, guys?
It's your girl, Honey.
It's your boy, Bull. It's your baby Star. And we're back with another one.
So, guys, baby Star has his mushroom. He's actually supposed to be holding it and then, like, chew. It's a teether. But he decided to use it as a pacifier.
Yeah, he got creative with it.
He loves it, though. He doesn't like holding it, but he likes to suck it like a pacifier.
Yeah. Alright, so, guys. Today, we are about to tell you some crazy news that happened to us.
Yes.
Cause they still... Alright, there you go. What is that?
Yeah. Peanut butter?
Peanut butter.
We went to a dinner on Tuesday for one of our friends' birthdays. And on Wednesday, we were feeling fine. And then on Thursday, I was feeling a little bit sick. Like, I thought maybe that it was just like dry in the house or something like that. Like I had like this random cough, but it wasn't like a persistent cough. It was like random, like every hour I would cough. And then like I felt really dry and I was like, okay, yeah, I felt like this before, you know, it's gonna go away.
But you kind of knew that you're like, man, I feel like I'm getting a little bit sick right now.
But I was trying to deny it to myself, like, no, there's no way I can get sick right now. And then the next day, I had this insane headache. Was it the next day? Okay, yeah. I might have my days wrong here.
No, literally the next day, so Wednesday, you had a cough and you're feeling a little bit off.
Okay, so I had a cough and I was feeling a little bit off on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, literally the day after the dinner.
Okay, and then on Thursday,
it got a little bit worse.
It got worse. So
you had a headache and you're like, yo, I don't feel good at all.
Yes.
And you're like, yo, my head's killing me. I have no appetite. Da 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 da. And then Friday came and then she really wasn't feeling good at all. I was at work Friday morning and then she calls me and she's like, Star just threw up.
He didn't throw up.
Like you're like he spit up his food, but like and not in a way that he usually does. Yeah. So then I was at work and I was like, I'm gonna call you back. She kind of had me a little bit scared. And then after, she's like how Star was making this weird sound. Like she's like, something's up, something's not right.
So like basically what he was doing, instead of crying, he was going, like he was like whining basically, just acting very tired and lethargic and very like cuddly and just like whatever. And like when he threw up his milk, it was like he would cough and then like all of the milk would like project.
But usually when he doesn't usually cough, so that's just one thing. Like he'll do like a like when he's crying, but he doesn't usually cough. So this time he was doing a cough, which was already alarming, basically because she was doing the cough as well. You know what I mean? So they basically kind of had the same cough. So long story short, on Friday now, which is pretty crazy, because when you're a parent and you're with your child day in and day out, you start to notice certain routines and habits that the baby does. So once something's out of the norm, you know what I mean? You're like, nah, something's a little off right now. He's not usually like this. So her mom instincts was right on alert. She knew something was off. Sometimes when she says certain things, I think she's over-exaggerating or whatever it is.
Dramatic.
With this, I couldn't really question her, because it's just like, yo.
Guys, I don't even tell Bull when I'm sick because I feel like he's not even gonna believe me.
With this, I was just like, yo, I can't really say anything just based off the fact that it's our child and she's with him more than I am, realistically. So yeah, so she knew something was off.
So I called Bull and like I called my mom, like I called a bunch of people and I was like, Star's sick, you know? And like I didn't know what to do, because this is the first time that Star has ever been sick. And as a parent, like your kid's sick and you're like, oh, like it's kind of scary, especially when they're this young. The
main thing that everybody who we explained the situation to, they're saying, how is his breathing? Like, is he breathing? Is he breathing? That was the main thing a lot of people were saying. Yes, he was making that sound, but was he having trouble breathing? And from the looks of it, he wasn't having any trouble breathing, but he had a discomfort, a slight discomfort. So our contemplation was, we were contemplating on, should we bring him to the hospital? But if we bring him to the hospital, are we gonna be there for 5-6 hours just to be there? Or are we gonna bring him there and then they might say something's wrong and then we have to be there for like a week, whatever it is. Like there's just so much. Are we over exaggerating? Should we just wait and see if he gets over it the next day? But the answer to all of that is just like, bro, this is our baby. It's not for me, it's not for her. He can't speak and we can't risk or take any chances with him whatsoever. So if we have to go to the hospital and sit there for 5 hours, that's what we have to do, right? Right. I call my mom. My mom works at a hospital. She has friends who are doctors. So honey sends my mom a video or they speak on the phone. And then my mom calls me back and she's like, yeah, the doctor said he needs to go to the hospital.
This is what happened, okay? So his mom called me and I was just coming back from, I went to Shoppers Drug Mart because I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Shoppers first and see if there's anything that I can get for myself or for him. And the pharmacist was like, no. So then his mom called me and she's like, I heard the baby's sick. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, listen to his breathing or whatever. When he's sucking on the soother, he's still making like a weird, like he's trying to like soothe himself or something. And then she was like, no, take him to the hospital. Like he needs to go to the hospital. I'm gonna talk to, and then she like put me on FaceTime with one of her one of the doctors at work where she works. He's like, call your pediatrician, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I said to her, call your son and let him know that he needs to go to the hospital. Because if it came out of my mouth and I was like, I'm bringing him to the hospital, he would have been like, yeah, no, I think you're over exaggerating, blah, blah, blah.
Then she calls me and she's like, yeah, they need to go to the hospital. And I literally was in the grocery store at this time, like buying hauls and a bunch of like little things. And then once I heard that, like my heart dropped a little bit. I was like, what? The hospital? Is it that serious? You know what I mean?
In my head, I was just like, okay, do I really need to go to the hospital right now? Is this like necessary? Again, like you said, it's your kid. So like you have to go. Like you can't play with it. Like if there's even that little small part in your brain that says like go to the hospital, you just go to the hospital. Like especially like if he's this young. Like if he was
fresh. He's fresh. And he can't talk.
So basically I ended up going to the hospital around what was it? Like maybe like 10 a.m.
Yeah, 10:30.
Around 10, yeah. And we get to the hospital and it wasn't actually that bad of a wait. Like once we got into the waiting room, whatever, they checked his vitals, everything was normal, he was breathing fine, his heart rate was fine, all of that. And then I just said to her, like, should I wait for the doctor or do you think like I'm good to go? And she was like, I would wait for the doctor, whatever. And then so whatever, I waited and then we went in, we saw the doctor. This is like 2 hours later, we see the doctor finally. He was concerned that I was concerned. Super lethargic, so for him, he was just like, when they're this young, it makes me worry, you know? So he kind of had me sit around for like, probably like 4 hours and he's like, feed him. Star wasn't really like crying for food, so I had to like kind of force feed him. And like he was having some troubles like latching. I don't really know why, maybe because he was just so tired. Then he was like, I'm gonna do blood work. Guys, this blood work was so freaking traumatizing. They have to put the needle in to find a vein and like it's so hard to find a little baby's vein. So they were like putting the needle in and this kid was screaming on the top of his lungs. It was so sad to watch and I'm just like trying to console him, but I mean, and then they forgot to do a test, so they had to come back up, do everything all over again, wake him up out of his sleep, do this all over again. So yeah, he was traumatized.
When she FaceTimed me with him, he was literally drenched in sweat. It looked like he just came out in the shower.
Yeah. I kind of went up to the doctor and I was like, have you gotten any of the results back? And he's like, honestly, I'm just waiting for his electrolytes, but we got like most of his blood work back and like I'm not upset about any of it. Nothing like raises red flags. And then he kind of asked me like, do you think that you can like go home and handle this kind of thing? And I was like, do you think he's okay? So we just mutually decided that, yeah, like I can go home and we'll just be on close standby in case anything. So everything came back normal except for the blood cell that fights viruses. I'm pretty sure he said it was low. So that kind of indicates just like a viral infection.
Now we come home. Now I'm physically able to see how he is. And he doesn't look good. Champ doesn't look good at all. How he is right now was not how he was that day. And usually when I go like this to him, like, he'll stand, you know what I mean? That day, when I was doing it to him, he wouldn't even stand. He had no strength in his legs. I held the phone like this. He would like look at the phone. And if I move the phone over here, usually his head will turn and he'll like follow you. Yeah. No, his eyes were like this and he's just making that like sad noise.
And he would just like stare, like blank stare, like, and just lay there like staring at you.
Yeah, and then mind you guys, at the same time, she's still going through it as well. Now I'm taking care of 2 babies, making her soup, then I'm still trying to help him out. She has a massive headache. He's making a weird sound, but they said that we have to make sure we're feeding him even more than normal.
Because the milk has so much nutrients that it helps his body fight off the virus.
Exactly.
That night, guys, he was just like, it was bad. Like we weren't able to sleep because we were just constantly checking on him. He was up like non-stop, just eating. Like it was a crazy. I ended up just like having to like breastfeed him. We said that he was gonna feed him throughout the night, but it was too crazy. It was too hectic.
Bro,
so,
at one point, like we woke up and the bed was soaked.
Soaked.
Like literally soaked. Soaked from Honey's side to my side, soaked. He was drenched.
Guys, I don't even know why the bed was soaking wet because none of us even had a fever. There was no fever breaking unless in our sleep we were getting fevers. I don't know. And then what, fast forwarding to the next day?
Yeah.
So the next morning we woke up, he woke up, and we kind of just like laid in bed and we started getting like, smiles out of him, and he was back. Like just like that, he was back. So he had the 24-hour flu. He fought that shit like nobody's business. I woke up and I was kind of feeling a little bit better, and then throughout the day I started feeling sick again. But he was in such a high energy mood yesterday, like just talking and chatting and sucking on his freaking mushroom. Taking care of a baby when you're sick is like so hard too, because it's like, it's a lot. You have to take care of yourself and the sick baby, so it was interesting, but I'm glad that we like went through it and we experienced what it's like for him to be sick.
He's doing a lot better, so we're thankful for that.
And he's been in his jammies for the last 4 days.
This is our first time taking care of like our baby, you know what I mean? Having him actually go through a sickness and us having to work as partners, and her being sick as well and still having to put him first over her own sickness, which is pretty crazy as well. Mm-hmm. It's challenging. It's challenging. It's scary. You have to make sure you're on point, and you just hope for the best. You know what I mean? Yes.
Who's that boy on camera? Feeling so much better.
Who's feeling good? That boy. It made us want to be a little bit more cautious on where we bring him and how we go about things, like making sure our hands are sanitized when we're doing things before we touch him. We've been going out a lot and being around a lot of people since the
mandates.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, we have a newborn, so we still have to be cautious, honestly, because he could get sick just like this. He doesn't really have that strong of an immune system. So going forward, we're gonna be a lot more cautious with where we bring him and how we go about it. But with all that being said, I feel good. He's doing better. She's starting to do a little bit better. We're all healthy. We're blessed. We're alive. And this was our experience with our baby boy being sick for the first time. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. You comment down below. You turn on those post notifications and you give this video a big thumbs up. We will be back with another one very soon. Peace and love.